Hello, welcome to the first week of the Featherstone Farm Winter CSA program. This is going to be my last box user guide bug video. So I'm going to turn over to Abby for good as of this week. She's been doing them off and on throughout the summer. We'll do a great job talking about how to maximize use of your crops in the box every week. We're getting into a period where there will be more regular crops in boxes week in, week out. So I believe Abby's going to be doing a little bit deeper dives on certain vegetables in periodic weeks. But this week we'll just begin together to go through the line and talk about the things that really jump out at us this week. I'm a long-term winter squash lover ever since our days of living in California, eating a lot of squash in the winter, particularly these Cabot Maxima type squashes like this. And we have an absolutely lovely crop of cabbage this year, maybe bumper crop in the last 10 years on cabbage. Lots to talk about in coming weeks.
We also have a great supply of the famous Featherstone carrots. We've got a supply for everyone this week and hopefully most weeks of the winter. We've gotten really lucky with awesome weather this fall. So it's been dry, it's been warm. The carrots are still growing, still sweetening up. We've harvested about 50% of the carrots so far. So we're really excited to share these with you all winter long.
Abby is in charge of harvesting carrots, and when she's excited about carrots, I get really excited too, because it's a major crop for us, one that our customers enjoy, and we'll have enough for you all winter. Potatoes, beets, some of these storage radishes, these are crops that Abby will talk about further. Any comment on beets this particular week? You've been picking those?
We finished up most of the beet harvest. They look pretty good, so I don't have anything special to add other than they'll keep a long time in your fridge, so just keep them wrapped up in that plastic and use them whenever you feel inspired.
Yeah, that is one common theme with all these winter storage crops that will reappear in your boxes all winter. We're picking them now in October. We'll be saving them through February into the month of March. So these are by and large very stable crops. And so there's less that volatility, with a couple of exceptions this week coming up. We have some beautiful field-grown greens that, again, as Abby mentioned, this wonderful fall weather has really made it beautiful for us.
Purple radishes here too for the box.
We have a series of crops coming in winter shares from the high tunnels. One of them is celery. This is a crop that has been harvested for several weeks. We picked them, Abby I guess could talk about this, but picked them in order to establish salad crops that will be coming in the next few weeks' boxes. So this is a little bit, I'm not going to call it a storage crop, but it's been out of the ground for a little while. If this comes to you and it's a little bit dry, I would certainly recommend just taking and trimming off a ½ inch or 3/4 of an inch off the butt of the celery. You might lose a couple of stalks, use those right away. Set the whole thing in a 2-cup vase of water, and it'll absorb moisture, it'll rehydrate, wrap tightly in a plastic bag, and it'll keep for many more weeks.
I volunteered to talk about the Hawkeye turnips because I really love Hawkeye turnips. Maybe I'm an outlier, but these are one of my favorite crops that we grow.
We all love them, but
yeah.
you especially.
I especially do. But they're great raw. I love to pick them in the field and just eat them straight up. Or they're really, really good, just sliced really thin and cooked just a little bit with butter. It's nice so they're not super soft, but a little bit tender with a little butter and salt. That's how I really love to eat them. But once you get them home, I would cut these greens off. I think the greens were a little lofty to fit in the boxes this week, so they trimmed them a little bit, and you could cut those off the rest of the way and just pop these into I would put them in a plastic bag in the fridge, and they'll keep for a long time in the fridge also, if you don't eat them all first. But,
Abby, just a quick question. Do we have a lot more of these coming in the field, or is this kind of a one-off fall thing, and then we move into more long-term storage purple top turnips?
There are a few more of these in the field if they last for a couple more weeks. These tend to they're better when they're small, so we'll see how they look in 2 weeks. But after this, we'll be moving on to more storage type turnips, the purple top turnips and the scarlet turnips, and that'll be kind of a different explanation on how to eat those.
All right,
yeah,
great.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was these tomatoes. This is the first time I think we've ever had tomatoes in winter CSA, maybe, especially at least from the high tunnels. So we're really excited that we're still pulling really nice red slicer tomatoes out of the tunnels. Some are really nice and red like this, but some of them are a bit greener and are definitely going to want to stay in the paper bag on your counter to ripen up fully. But we're really excited to still have those, especially after some cold nights here, and hope to have those for another month.
late crop high tunnels planted. We must have planted those in August or end of
Earlier,
July,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, just a really late crop to make up for some of the losses in that rain-drenched early summer.
Yep.
Didn't have so many tomatoes. So
Yep.
great idea of making up for that. Now we're getting to another area of special interest for me. These bitter greens, tender greens. There are 3 of them in box, 4 of them in the boxes this week. Red Russian kale, which you've heard me say was on our wedding invitation. I hand drew this Red Russian. To me is so beautiful, so tender, and such good eating. Had a couple of frosts on them, so you've got a lot of natural antifreeze in there, which is sugar. The green mustard, on the other hand, is a bitter green, and this will have heat. As it gets cold, this develops a deep warming thing for curries, for lentil dishes, beans, for stew beans, throwing this in towards the end. It's a very tender green, but it stews down, creates that really rich, umami, deep warming character in a winter stew or soup. And then the tatsoi, Abby, this is field grown, right?
Yep.
You're not, we have had these in tunnels in the past. We have had to protect from flea beetles, but this is just, looks so beautiful because it's such nice weather out.
Yep. We got really lucky with all these greens down there. Didn't have to cover anything. Very little bug pressure.
You can use these guys really creatively. That stalk is it's a peppery, but also really snappy thing. So if you're making tuna salad or chicken salad and you run out of celery or you want to try something different, you can stick that long stem up in a tuna salad and it would really liven it up, give a little mustardy quality, or use in the stir fry other things as you might conventionally use. We do have spinach coming up as well, but I'm sure this is something we'll talk about a lot more. Abby will be talking about a lot more in future weeks. This is field-grown spinach, but we have a lot of high tunnel spinach coming as well. Anything to add on this one at all?
Well, this was the featured vegetable in the newsletter this week, so there's write-ups with recipes and online that you can check out, and it's sweet. It's just a really awesome spinach compared to anything you're going to get from the store. So
yeah, it's completely unlike this California cardboard that we're used to this time of year. This appears several things. This is field grown and it's large, right? Because we've had such warm, optimal growing conditions.
Yep.
So you'll have to clean it up, wash and dry it. This is cooking spinach. We have salad spinach coming out of tunnels by and large.
And I did link to Jack's write-up on how to best clean and prepare the spinach in the newsletter. So definitely check that out if you want to know how to best clean it up.
It's a little bit of work. Nobody likes grit in their spinach, but this is worth it. Fall spinach has a lot of been going through some cold. The eating quality is off the charts and nutritional value also.
Yeah.
All right, this is the first week of Winter CSA, but it's my last week doing these box user guides, and it's our filmmaker's last week of doing this, Karen Wallen. I'd like to thank for this summer working with our CSA program. Great presence, great help. Thank you so much, Karen. We will miss you. Abby, you'll do a great job on these videos, and I will watch from my couch or from my kitchen counter as I'm cooking in the future. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks. See you next week.